Hey VC, what's up? It's me, yours truly. I am back to just do kind of a recent vinyls find. Just things I've picked up, I guess, recent over the past month or so, month and a half, somewhere in there. Um, yeah, just records I picked up. Um, as I've mentioned, like my past couple videos, I'm still going through the whole purge thing of getting rid of stuff that's not perfect condition and all that good stuff. You can kind of see some of the gaps are really starting to develop in some of the stacks here. So I've been getting rid of quite a bit of stuff. Um, and it's actually been a really, really good time to do this too because um, the local FYE here, as I mentioned, is going out of business and they've been marking things down. Well, they're down now to where all new vinyl is 70% off. Now, granted, we've picked through it pretty good already, but still, there's still quite a bit of stuff there, and all vinyl is 70% off. So it's kind of been an ideal time to have, the purge, have some money coming into the PayPal account, and then being able to go and pick up CDs at 60% off and vinyl at 70% off. It's been some really good pickings. So yeah, that's definitely one of the great things about this haul that really had me excited when I was actually thinking about it, getting ready to make this video, is that I got this entire haul and I haven't spent any money, which is kind of nice. Just with the purge, PayPal, purchase something else. So these are all the great additions to my collection, stuff I'm really really happy to add into my collection. So let me just kind of jump right into it. The first one here, The Teenagers, featuring Frankie Lyman. So happy to see they did a reissue of this because trying to get anything Frankie Lyman, original pressings out there, is just so freaking costly that I never had any. So it was nice to see this reissue that they put out. And kind of all his classic hits. Why Do Fools Fall in Love, Baby Baby, The ABCs of Love, all that good stuff. So a really really awesome reissue there. And here's one that had been needing to replace for quite some time. Stone Temple Pilots Core. I had an original pressing of this that I sold about maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and I had just been kind of meaning to get a reissue. So, with the selling off of stuff, this was kind of a great time to pick up a copy of this. And I think a great album too. In my opinion, one of the heaviest albums like ever, quite frankly. And I don't mean heavy as in like, you picking out your favorite death metal band and comparing it to them or comparing it to, Napalm Death or anything of that nature. But I mean like sonically the the thickness and the wall of sound that comes from this album, I've always felt is just amazing. Um, so I'm very interesting to hear what it sounds like on this 180 gram reissue because I've only heard the original pressing on Atlantic. So definitely looking forward to giving that a spin. But yeah, classic album that I'm so happy to finally have in my collection. And I went there yesterday to the FYE, and I was so surprised to still see this sitting there for 70% off. That no one had picked it up, which is the Cheap Trick. Woke Up with a Monster, their 1994 release. I mean, a great Cheap Trick album. The same, just same Cheap Trick sound, same great guitar, same awesome vocal delivery. I've had the cassette for quite some time, but yeah, it was so nice to find the vinyl. And I cannot believe. I said I haven't been back to the FYE before yesterday. It was probably a good week or so. So I just can't believe no one had snagged this up yet. So that was really nice. Another great reissue, Screaming Jay Hawkins, At Home with Screaming Jay Hawkins. I think this came out in 1958, I believe, 58 or 59, somewhere around there. And for those of you that maybe don't know Screaming Jay Hawkins, actually, maybe most people might know him that aren't in his music, obviously, from there was a piece that was done on him in that the Headbangers Journey, you know the um, the heavy metal kind of documentary where they were talking about all the different genres of metal and they would go back to early influences and so forth. And he was mentioned on the shock rock when they were talking about, where did the Alice Coopers come from, and King Diamond and all that kind of stuff. And I was so excited and happy too that in that he referenced Screamin' Jay Hawkins, because Screamin' Jay really was kind of the King Diamond and Alice Cooper before King Diamond and Alice Cooper. I mean, this guy back in the 50s, I mean, that keep just put that in perspective. I mean, back in the 50s was already doing this, Halloween settings and putting, painting his face and doing very what you might label as voodoo related type of things and images and everything in the presentation of his music. And I mean, even look at this cover, prime example. I mean, you look at that, and again, you would consider that maybe to be something that you would see on a modern day heavy metal album. I mean, maybe take away his smile, so to speak. But I mean, this is the 50s. He's way ahead of his time. So really, really great stuff. And for those maybe that don't know him at all, definitely check out I Put a Spell on You. That would be the first maybe song and video I would recommend kind of checking him out to get a feel for what he's about. But moving right along, Record Store Day release of Joan Jett and the Blackheart Center. I've been waiting to get a copy of this for quite some time, so this turned out to be a really good time to do that. So really happy to get a copy of it. I mean, it is on clear vinyl, but at the same time, if they're going to be reissuing or even issuing for the first time some of these old Joan Jetts, I'm more than happy to take it on whatever color it comes. Another pickup I've been wanting for quite some time, Linda Ronstadt, Silk Purse. Now, I've stumbled across a bunch of these copies, but this is one of those albums that you have to get an absolute mint copy of it, because it's such a soft, light album that any speck of dust or dirt or whatever else, you're going to hear every bit of it on an album like this. So it was nice to kind of stumble across one of these in perfect condition. I've always loved that cover too, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, only $3 was a great find. Now this is another one I was willing to pick up because it was only 70% off. Otherwise I probably wouldn't have bought it. But Godsmack, 1000 Horsepower. I have this CD, and of course I love Godsmack, probably my favorite group, but this just isn't one of my favorite albums. It's still a good album, but it's not my favorite Godsmack album. I'm still waiting for Awake and Faceless and 4 and all those be released on vinyl. So when it was marked out 70% off, I was like, okay, this is a great opportunity to pick up a copy of it. So that was a very good find. And here's another one I cannot believe people let sit for a week at 70% off. A brand new copy of Deep Purple In Rocks. I was almost shocked when I saw it sitting up there. And my first thought was there must be something wrong with it. So I was like really looking, trying to find the flaw. And I was like, why in the world hasn't someone picked that up? Or maybe they were just saving it for me. It was just like perfect condition. I mean, that's actually a ring where there's on the sleeve here, not the cover itself. So yeah, awesome pickup there. All right, here's where you guys give me crap. Okay, I'm on the next one here. But again, this album was $14.99 and it was marked 70% off, which means I got it for about $5. Okay, and go ahead and start with the thumbs down. But yes, yes, Justin Bieber, brand new, sealed. Yes, I picked it up. Now again, it's only $5, and most people probably out there say it's not worth 5 cents. But if there's one thing that I really trust about myself, we all have our insecurities about all kinds of things, just dealing with life in general, period. But probably one of the things I trust most about myself is my ear and my heart when it comes to music. Not saying like I can pick out the greatest stuff, but I will like something because I want to like it, and outside influences will not influence whether I like something or not to any degree whatsoever. Never has and never will. And this is just kind of a little affirmation about that. But what can I say? I mean, that song Baby, it's stupid, it's cheesy, but do I like to listen to that melody from time to time? Yes, I have this CD. I mean, I do. So I was willing to pick it up on vinyl. And and the funny thing is, you know, almost like that internal battle, if you will, because like Baby, and another good example would be Taylor Swift's Blank Space. You know, both of those songs represent just about not just about, it represents everything that I hate about modern day music. Like everything. The cheesiness, just how it's so thrown together. It's built to sell, 1 million copies to 80,000 billion gazillion teenagers over the course of a few months, and then it's gone. It's never heard of again, and it's never going to be, the smoke on the water that you talk about 50, 60 years from now or 40 years from now, and it's never going to have Zeppelin or Stone legacies and all, like not even where close. Most artists won't, period, but not even close. So that element of music, like Lady Gaga and all this stuff, and again, I have one of her albums too, but in general, that stuff is what I despise about music. Yet, if something comes out of that that rings well in my ear, like I'll just ignore that. It's like, yeah, this is crap, but I can't help it. I like that song. And Baby and Blank Space are two perfect examples. I love both of those songs. Oh God, forgive me. But but yeah. So anyway, I went ahead and picked it up. So I have no problem having this, and I do have that Taylor Swift album in my collection as well. So all right, so just take it easy though. I mean, I can feel you guys coming at me like half the world's coming at Trump right now. So just take it easy. Let's all get along. On both sides of that, let's all get along. Uh, but I'll try to redeem myself here really quick by jumping to Overkill, Bloodletting. Great addition to the Overkill collection. And I've said this before, if the Big Four ever had to turn into the Big Five, Overkill would be the band you would put in there. Sure, you can make an argument for Testament, without question, and Exodus for that matter, but Overkill would be my pick. As many albums those guys have put out, just the consistency over the years, pretty much every single one of their albums is great on some level. So then I also pulled a copy of Coverkill, which was nice. And From the Underground and Below. So some great intros into the Overkill collection. Next year, this is another great one. I was glad that it was still at the FYE, because this is a record that I've been wanting to get, but it was not worth the price in my mind. Disturbed, Immortalized. So great picking up a copy of this. And typical Disturbed, I mean, just, kind of their metal rap thing that they do. I mean, that's the way I refer to, like, his delivery is very much in a rhythmic type style. But, yeah, just typical Disturbed in that regard. But one thing that I was really impressed with on this, they did a cover of Simon and Garfunkel's The Sound of Silence. And I was extremely impressed with that cover on this album. That song, number one, it's already perfect in the way that Simon and Garfunkel did it. But it's also one of those songs that I think with people, if they try to cover it, they'll screw up and lose the essence of the song. And Disturbed did just the opposite. That they actually captured it and added a couple of elements to it, which I was extremely impressed by. When Simon and Garfunkel do it, again, in my mind, there's kind of a mysterious, almost ghostly element to it, especially with kind of that two-way harmony that they do with it. And Disturbed really kept that in the song, which was awesome. And then the certain elements in the song where there can be a little more of a build-up or a little more energy, Disturbed did a great job of inserting Disturbed style into just those moments. So, again, I was extremely impressed that they took a perfect song and did it so well. I mean, very, very great cover. So I'll definitely say a very positive thing about that particular album. Next we have here Commodore's Night Shift. It was nice to get a copy of that. I had one that wasn't in such great shape that I got rid of a couple years ago, and so that was a brand new sealed copy, but it was in the used section. So I got it for only $2, which was great. So it was nice to kind of fill that spot. And that's a really great album too. I mean, like whenever I look at the cover and just think about the album, it always makes me think about, I think it came out in 1985, and Night Shift, the song Night Shift was a great song, one of my favorite Commodore songs of all times. But the rest of the album is really, okay, whatever else. But 1985, that wasn't far from the time when the Commodores and Lionel Richie went like this, where he left or they kicked him out or whoever wants to tell the story. Um, but I've always found it interesting because one of the issues the Commodores was having with Lionel Richie was, number one, he was making all the money because he was doing all the writing. But he was doing all those ballads, which were so big. So not only is he making all the money, but they're doing all these ballads, and you have to keep in mind the Commodores started as kind of a funk band, funk more R&B type of band. They originally got together just to get girls, like literally, that was one of their motivations just for starting the band. But so as Lionel was taking them down this slow ballad thing, they just didn't like it. But so it just makes me think in 1985 they were making records like this, and Lionel Richie was going to slow down and battling Michael Jackson's Thriller for the #1 spot, and just kind of like, you might have made a mistake kicking that guy out of your band. That's all I'm gonna say. But anyway, I want to get into more of a thread question type of thing. The next one here is an artist that I have been digging a lot lately. I've always known he's great, always loved his music, always thought he was genius, but for some reason, I found another level of his genius over the past couple months. And it is the one and only Bill Withers. And this is his album, Adjustments. And I mean, Bill is, again, I don't know what has clicked on another level with him, but the soulfulness and the realness, if I can say, I've just become more and more blown away by him. And so I've decided that I wanted to get all of his individual pressings. I've had a couple of his greatest hits albums, which I decided to sell and just kind of go for all of his individual albums. So it was nice picking up a copy of that, as well as this one here. I have a couple more on the way in the mail, so I'll maybe share those with you when those come in. But yeah, Bill is, it's really, really amazing. So the last two here, whoa. Another one from FYE, Lucinda Williams, Down Where the Spirit Meets the Bone. Nice 3/0 piece set, very vintage Lucinda Williams. Again, for those maybe that don't know her, we're talking more on the country, sometimes almost alternative country, but she's definitely a country singer, if you will. But yeah, just her still doing her thing. Nice 3-album set. And again, my favorite 2 songs off of this so far, I've only listened to it all the way through once, but I think One More Day and Magnolia would be the 2 songs I'd recommend checking out off of this album. And last but not least, the man himself, Wilson Pickett, Greatest Hits. I've been wanting a mint copy of this for so long, and I was so happy to come across this one. And it's just, like I said, it's Wilson Pickett's Greatest Hits. I'm a huge Wilson Pickett fan. If you ask me 3 best voices in all of music, and of course you have a lot of great ones out there, my list actually goes with Steve Perry from Journey, Sam Cooke, in no particular order, Sam Cooke, and Wilson Pickett. Those are my 3. And if you left out your Aretha Franklins, you've left out your Marvin Gayes, and you've left out, Cornell. Just all kinds of people, but those 3 are just magnificent, and Wilson Pickett is certainly one of those. The power that he could generate in his voice is just, you can't even put words to it, And one of my best examples of that is if you go listen to the song, his cover of the Beatles' Hey Jude. Listen to that all the way through. Amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. And then I also pick, just, for the sake of talking about it, I also pick Steve Perry and Sam Cooke, which could actually kind of be considered one, because in my mind, Sam Cooke is the R&B version of Steve Perry, and Steve Perry is the rock and roll version of Sam Cooke. And that's why I think I love those guys' voices to death. But one last thing I will show, I picked up a number of CDs too, but I'll just show this one here. Testament, Brotherhood of the Snake, their newest album. Really good stuff. Listened to this once all the way through the other day, and I think the song The Number Game is probably my favorite off of that so far. So anyway, there you go. Those are the recent finds. Yeah, those are the recent finds. I did do a nice little pull last night of some other things I'm going to sell. Oh, I did forget two others that I got too. I did get a brand new reissue of Guns N' Roses Use Your Illusion 1, as well as Use Your Illusion 2. I picked up those from the FYE, and I'm actually selling my copies of Guns N' Roses 1 and 2, which are both original pressings. Actually, I take that back. I've already sold one, so I just have two left there. But those were two other copies that I didn't think to bring over here and kind of show with new pickups. So anyway, maybe I'll share those in the next video. But anyway, let me know what you think. Again, take it easy on the Justin Bieber thing. But we'll talk to you next time. All right, take care, VC.